thirsty right before we go on. What was that term again? The mother.
One tough mother.
One tough mother. I totally forgot about that. I remembered the other sign, the other slogan that we would say.
Well, it was interesting because, well, we can talk about it.
Yeah.
It was sort of funny the way the whole story progressed.
Yeah.
And what led us to her.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I was curious why her. Let's see. I guess Nate's not back yet either. So. All right, you good?
Yeah. Nothing to it.
Here we go.
You're watching KATU News on Digital.
Good morning and welcome to this morning's Digicast. I'm Sarah Bagby in for Noelle Ford, and I am so lucky to have Joe English with me today. How you doing, Joe?
I'm glad you used that term. I'm not sure if that's correct or not, but thank you. I feel lucky to be here with you, too.
Well,
so this is fun.
We all love having Joe when he's with us. He's the best reporter and also a great forecaster. I am just learning the equipment, so bear with me, Joe, if I am slow or I'm looking away while you're talking. But
I wish I could help you. I know 2 or 3 of those buttons, and that's about it. Yeah, so we'll get through it. You bear with us.
Yeah, we'll all learn this together.
Provide you with some information that works for you.
That's right. And of course, what we talk about here is some of the stories we've been covering over the week, some things that we'll be following up on. One of the big stories right now is this former Trailblazer was just arrested. Did you hear about this?
Yes. And I'm not real familiar with this player. So
his name is Ben McLemore.
Okay.
He played with us 2021, just for 1 year, and I do have some video of him so you can see if you recognize him at all here. We'll bring him up, but mainly he was accused in Clackamas County for raping a woman back in 2021, and he was just arrested, now officially arrested on Wednesday. So let me bring up a picture of you. In case you guys don't know who this is who we're talking about. And what he says is that he's saying he is not sexually abusive. He went on to say his attorneys were cooperating fully with the investigation, and they were even willing to testify before the grand jury, but was refused on that. So he was arraigned on Wednesday. He's out now. He paid the bail.
Interesting right there, yeah.
Exactly. We don't know. We know that there's going to be another court date on July 1st.
Okay.
So that will be the follow-up. The reason I brought this up, Joe, is because to me, I feel like this reminds me of, say, 22 years ago. Do you remember the Jailblazers?
Right. The Jailblazers,
right.
Yes. Yeah, they had quite a reputation for several years there, getting into trouble on and off the court. I mean, they had hot tempers on the court, and then they got into some legal issues off the court. But yes, quite a crew back. In fact, one of my favorite stories that I've ever done, and I was reporting here at KATU at the time, was they were looking for a new coach.
But this was during that time, right?
This was during
when Cheeks had just been...
Yeah, before. They ended up hiring Mo Cheeks as the new coach.
Got it.
And who's a great guy. But they had some issues, so to speak. So we thought, what could we do to dig into this story? And thought, why don't we go find a coach? Because they had lost their coach and they needed a new coach. So we thought, why don't we go figure out who could be the coach of the Trailblazers instead of the Jailblazers, right? So tried to get a hold of we were thinking leadership quality, right? Mm-hmm. People who showed those signs of being able to handle some difficult people, perhaps. So we thought, chief of police, let's try the chief of police.
To coach the Blazers. I don't
remember who the chief of police was. And his name escapes me, but he said, I'm not getting in the middle of that mess. And that really says something, I think, about the Blazers at that time, because this chief of police would rather deal with all these other criminals than the Trailblazers. So he didn't want to talk to us. And we thought about a wonderful man who was known as Father Mike, who did a segment for us Sunday mornings on KATU, talking about how to be a good person, how to love your neighbor, how to do all that. We thought, there's a guy that might be able to handle, again, a crew like the Jailblazers. Could not get him. We ended up calling sports radio talk show with Mark Mason, and I think it was Clay Thompson, perhaps, who was a former Blazer who was co-anchoring that show with him, and got in there to talk to him and say, what kind of a person should the team get as a coach? And he was explaining, here's some qualities that matter, and he said, whoever the best man or woman might be. And so we stopped and went, okay, wait a minute. This was almost 25 years ago. I said, a woman, a female, not that I have a problem with a woman coaching the team at all, but I hadn't even thought of that. And then the name Gert Boyle came up, who was the CEO of Columbia Sportswear. If you remember, the ad campaign at the time was her picture and the slogan, "One Tough Mother." So the story was, yeah, it's going to take one tough mother to run this team, right? So I called her up. Steve Dunn, our main anchor, is a good friend. Gert's passed away now, but we're good friends with her, and he gives me her phone number. She answered the phone herself, which surprised me. She said, yeah, come on over. I'll talk to you about it. So we talked about what the team needed as far as discipline. She said, first thing I would do, I would take Rashid and Ruben Patterson and put them on the top of my SUV and drive them through the car wash. And that would be the start of cleaning up this act. So very funny story at the time. Yeah, but that kind of thing. This particular story may be a little more serious than the trouble they were getting into, but they were getting into a lot more trouble than what we're seeing now.
Yeah, and it was like every week, it would be one person with marijuana, another person with dog fighting, another person at an assault.
Right,
I think Ruben Patterson actually did have some assault with a woman as well. I mean, we had, this was during Brandon Roy, Greg Owen, Lamarcus Aldridge.
It was a mess. They had quite a reputation as bad boys of basketball.
Some of them have shaped up, though. Damon Stoudemire is doing great out there, doing good things for the community as well.
Yes.
Well, also wanted to change to another story, something that happened that I feel bad for this the restaurant. It's you hear about the burglary? This is over in Northwest 23rd. Yeah, I have a VO of it. It's actually about Burma Joy Burmese. It's a great restaurant. I've been there before. We'll talk about the actual food there in a moment, but I want to show you the robbery that happened. This was last Sunday, about 4 a.m. We can see they came in through the Starbucks next door, which was already closed down, go in through the ceiling, and then they just drop right down through the ceiling into the Burma Joy restaurant here. And what they did was they stole a lot of equipment, some money. I also have a VO from the owner there.
They landed in the kitchen.
Let's listen to that.
And then came into the bar area, took our cash register, like the tray with all the cash in it, and also the lots of liquor that we store. It's especially just the top shelf, the pretty spendy ones. Here, you see the big hole way up there, so that's how they came about.
Wow. So obviously trying to get in, but maybe not getting in that way exactly, falling through the ceiling.
But they did it. They took the money, they got the alcohol. I mean, they got away with it. So at first it reminded me back when we would remember there used to be the world's dumbest criminals?
That's what it looks like. It
looked like something from that, but then they got away with it. So they are still we are still searching for these thieves. Hopefully we catch them. I wanted to say, though, of all the restaurants, I love that restaurant because they have a robot that serves you. A few robots, actually. I had Milo serving me last time, but they all have names.
And I have not been, but now I'm intrigued. I want to go try this out. And what, like a waiter, like a full-size robot?
Yeah, I'd say the robot is about 5 feet tall.
Wow.
Comes over and brings you your food. You do have to kind of take it off the tray. They can't really put it in front of you the way you'd like, but it's pretty interesting. And there's about four restaurants throughout the city, but I love the robots and the food. It's pretty good. It's unfortunate this happened to them, but I'm sure they'll come back from it. Also, I wanted to talk about the weather, Joe, because you've been covering the weather all week. I know we both do weather, but you have been covering it all week, and it's kind of a good weekend coming up. Do you want to talk about it for us?
Yeah, it started out cloudy this morning, and I was out not too long ago already seeing the sun come out for today, and we will warm up a bit. We're getting a little kind of chilly north wind for now, but that will change as we look into the weekend. A lot of stuff going on, of course, a nice spring weekend, and we're talking about highs 70, 71, 72 degrees for Saturday afternoon with sunshine. Still pretty nice on Sunday, maybe not quite as warm. A little, I don't want to get too complicated, a little area of low pressure down to the south that tries to move up to the north to bring us some clouds and showers. So not going to be an entirely dry weekend for everybody, but certainly around Portland and Vancouver. We're looking at partly cloudy, mostly sunny skies, and very warm temperatures. And then cooling off as we go into next week because we're seeing some showers, some moisture coming in, and some colder air, very low snow levels, down to around a couple thousand feet in elevation, which is kind of unusual for us.
Actually, that is pretty cool for those of us who want to go skiing. I first want to talk about this weekend, though. I mean, the Timbers game looks pretty good being so warm. So
and
that's
I believe
great.
it starts at 1:30, so it should be, it can get hot. I don't know. I've been to the stadium, the venue, not to a Timbers game, but when you're sitting there, if the sun's out, summer day, it can get pretty toasty down on the field. It should be really comfortable.
Yeah, it'll be a good day for that. Or going to the Tulip Festival, we got that going on.
Yeah.
Another topic, too, is Skibowl. Now, we talked about this yesterday, but I want to talk about it again. They are closing. This is our last chance to go skiing this weekend at
Yes.
Skibowl.
Yeah.
So it is going to be open from noon till 8 on tomorrow and on Sunday. But I also wanted to point out that there's another reason. It's not just because it's the end of the season and the snow levels come down. There's other
Right.
reasons, too.
Yeah, because there's still plenty of snow at the higher elevations.
Yeah.
Mount Hood Meadows and Timberline, Mount Bachelor is still open. They could be open for quite a while. But Skibowl is in that situation where they do a whole lot of stuff over the summer. And so I've talked to them many times about they love having the extended ski snowboarding season, but they also want to get into all their summer activities.
Exactly. They have to set it all up. It's kind of amazing what they offer in the summer. So I
Yeah.
wanted to remind everyone that Skibowl's not closing down, just the ski
Right.
season
Yeah.
is closing down. In fact, we have some VO for people to see what's going on, but I wanted to kind of list some of those options out there because I didn't know they had so much going on. They actually have disc golf, scenic sky chair, alpine slide, aqua rollers. I don't know what aqua rollers are, but I'm curious. Rock climbing, summer
not sure.
tubing. I don't get that one because it's, there. Now
Yeah,
we get
so
to see it.
It's sort of the
Cool.
fake grass kind of surface
Yeah.
that you go down like you're on tubing on a snow.
Yeah.
hill.
Oh, look at that. I mean,
Oh,
I
that
love
must
the
be
alpine
aqua
slide.
tubing
It's
right
kind of like an alpine
is
slide,
fun.
but in a tube and a little shorter.
Have you actually
probably.
done the alpine slide? I've
Yes.
done it a couple times.
Isn't
It's
it
it's great. It's one of those things you need to go try to do sometime.
Yeah, you can't either visit Oregon or live here and not do it at least once. It's
Yeah.
just kind of part of being here, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, highly recommend. I'm glad you said that, Joe. Also, I don't want everyone to think that the ski season's over because I went yesterday. I went to Meadows with Noelle, by the way, before she went off on
okay.
her vacation. And I was shocked how nice it was. They've even extended it for Meadows and Timberline just a few weeks into
Yeah.
May, which is kind of nice for those of
Yeah.
us who are skiers. I had not skied for years, so Noelle convinced me to start this spring.
Okay.
I've skied my whole life, but I just,
Yeah.
every year I'm just too busy. So this year I keep going, and it was so beautiful up there. I even videoed it a little. You want to see Noelle ski?
Okay. So we don't have you ski. We do
No,
have Noelle
no,
skiing.
no, just
Okay,
Noelle. Yeah,
let's
of
take a
course.
look.
So here, let me bring her up. One thing I'll tell you though before I bring her up, Noelle before January had never skied.
Oh,
never
really?
even
Wow.
skied.
Okay.
And now, this is her.
All right. Looks like she knows what she's doing.
Yeah, she's actually really good. This doesn't even do justice. She's better than me now, and I've been skiing my entire life. So good for her. I'm actually really impressed by her skiing.
And the snow's pretty good up there?
It
for late
is.
season?
We went right after work. So we work from 3 a.m. till about noon. We didn't get up there till 2. So it's starting to melt up there for everyone in the spring season around 2. So it's just a little slushier by 4.
Yeah.
But then they close it early for that reason. So I got a few hours in
What
there.
do they call it? Cascade concrete, right?
Yeah,
It-
that's a
it's
good
little harder
description of
than
it.
some other areas.
Yeah, especially in the shade, it's ice and
Yeah.
slush. But it has been
Still
pretty
fun.
good. Last weekend was good, and it sounds like we may be getting a little bit more over the next few weeks. So
Yeah, and that's why we were talking about the transition for Skibowl from winter to summer activities could be delayed a little bit because it's just not that nice up there yet. But there's more snow at the higher elevation, so that means more skiing and no more snowboarding for Timberline. Well, Timberline you can go year round on a little patch of snow
Yeah.
up there in the Palmer ice field. But that may extend for several more weeks, so we'll just have to wait and see.
hope so. Are you a skier, Joe?
I haven't been for years. Good enough that I don't look terribly awkward and stupid on skis,
Yeah.
but not accomplished by any means.
You
no.
just did the perfect description of me. Just
Okay.
not too awkward,
Yeah.
but good enough.
You
yeah.
won't stand out as a great skier, but you won't stand out as somebody rolling down the hill.
Yeah,
out of
but at least
control.
you've done it. Yeah. Well, we have that and the summer sports to look forward to, so that's
Yeah.
good. And of course, we're always on your side, keeping you updated on all the latest news, and we have our evening shows, so don't forget to catch those. And we will be back on Monday. Thanks for joining us for today's Digicast, and have a great day.
This has been a KATU News Digicast. KATU News is on your side.